Hello.
How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I hope you're having such a great day.
I'm having such a great day.
And I just ate Cheetos, so my breath is probably like super cheesy.
It is,
so
but
I really
it's
apologize
all right.
for that.
It's all right. All right, very quickly. This was the reading strategy that you've already seen, but we're going to just really quickly review it.
Mm-hmm.
When you read, this time we've talked about the social injustices that are coming up. We're getting ready to hit World War II. So you're going to talk about the injustices, how Jewish people were treated, how the world kind of ignored what was going on for a long time. So you're going to look at it from the perspective, who's writing the story? When you read informational text or literature, like a book, who's telling the story? Is it a child? Is it an adult? Is it somebody that doesn't know what's going on and they're questioning it?
Mm-hmm.
Who's in power? When you look at it that way, we'll be talking about Hitler in power and Mussolini in power and FDR in power. Then the final thing is, what's your position on that? How does the reading make you feel? How does it make you think? What opinions do you get from that? So, anything to add?
I think you pretty much summed it up.
I just started talking over her. Oops. All right. So here's our next part.
So this is
Oops,
writing.
Sorry. Yes.
So for writing this week, we are going to be actually doing something super, super cool, and we're so excited about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We'll do this.
Okay, good. So we're going to pretend that we are newspaper reporters. Okay, now a reporter has to do some research. You got to ask some questions so that you know what to write about or what to talk about. So you are going to have to use Chromebooks to actually do some research this coming week on writing.
There are also books that you can get from the library. You can
Mhm.
look in the encyclopedias in the library. You can use the studies weeklies.
Mm-hmm.
I've got closed passages. There are
Epic.
lots of other things.
Yeah.
Get Epic.
Right. So many different resources that you can use for this. But we're actually going to be tying in
We're talking really fast because we're so excited. We're like,
I know.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Okay, so slow.
This is what teachers get excited about. Teachers get really excited.
I sound like Dory, the whale.
You do.
Whoa.
I speak well.
Okay, so
Sorry.
anyway, last week we talked about captions and writing captions and making them descriptive, but short and snappy, to the point, right? Don't tell me a whole paragraph about the caption, but I need to know what's going on in enough detail. So you're going to be looking at this photo and you're kind of reviewing writing a caption, right?
Right. But except I changed it because we're not writing a caption again.
Right.
But you're thinking about what the picture is. What does it mean? What do you feel when you read it? You got to tell a story behind the picture. And we did y'all have done a really good job with that this week. Some of my kids are writing like this article.
Yes.
And that's okay. I was like, that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my kids even said, can I do 6? I'm like, how about it? So you're going to write a story, and it's so like a big caption. But, when you look in our studies weeklies, you're writing a story.
Yeah, like an article in the newspaper.
Right. And this isn't going to be, I think that, or made up things. This is a factual, objective reporting about this. You can't say, look at this jerk Hitler.
Right. No opinions.
No opinions in newspaper writing. So the way we're going to do that is researching.
Right. So what angle do I want to explore? Well, when you're writing something, you have to choose the angle that you want to come at it with. So do you want to be pro, or it means do you want to be supportive, or do you agree with this? Or maybe you're against it. Maybe there's different angles. So for the first one, the U.S. versus the rest of the world. So in World War I, were you more on the U.S. side, or are you coming from a U.S. perspective, or are you going to be writing it like you're coming from Germany, or you're maybe a Nazi or something? So that's one example.
Right. And when she says, are you pro or against, it's not your opinion. Are you writing the article in a way that shows Hitler in a good light? Like, for instance, saying Supreme Leader Hitler was cheered by the crowds. Or are you saying, the United States was dismayed and disappointed that Hitler has achieved such power? So you got to figure out what your angle is. Are you saying it from a United States perspective where we don't like him and so we want to make Hitler look bad? And so you're reporting not all, your take on it is that, wow, here's this guy and look at all those crowds. Or are you going to be from the German side going, look at this great man who's taken our leadership?
Right. You just have to be careful with how you do angle versus opinion, because it can get kind of tricky.
Well, and not not to get all controversial, but this is going on right now with our president. He will say, this news report was incorrect and they're making me out to look badly. And here's a news article that says that Trump is doing so great and they really like his tax cuts and this is what's going on. So that's an angle that they're supporting President Trump. And then there are other news articles that say this is bad for our country, no matter what he says. That's what we're talking about, angles. The newspapers aren't saying, I like him or I don't like him. They're presenting it as their angle on it. If I were doing a news report on broccoli, I love broccoli, so it would be good. I hate green beans. So if I was reporting on green beans, I would talk about the bad parts of green beans. But as a news reporter.
And also think about like two sides of the story. So for instance, if you were to get in trouble.
That never happens.
Yeah, no, not at all. So you're in trouble with, yourself and someone else, right? So you're going to have a different side of the story or angle than the other person is.
Right. So you're telling it from two different ways. So what we're working on, you're going to have your close reading passages about dictators. And Hitler's one of them. That there's some others. There are 3 others. You're also going to be, so you've got those. We're going to start reading a really cool book in a couple of weeks called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. So good. Don't read it. Don't watch the movie yet because you don't want to spoil it. It's so good. And then you're going to be writing the news story about this picture. There's no choice in picture. This is what you're writing about. And I think I'm going to let my kids partner up and work together and do the research. So cool with you?
I agree.
All right. So we'll partner up and you guys can go to the library and look it up. You can look up together on the Chromebook, but this will be on Google Docs. We'll share the picture with everybody and with you.
Right.
And then you'll do your report on Google Docs. This is not a big slideshow. It's not cutesy stuff. It's a news reporter. So you're not going to do curly Q fonts. You're not going to do 17 different colors.
And add all these extra little pictures in there. And
it's the picture and your article.
Right. You're not making an entire newspaper.
No, one article.
Like with Rivka.
No. Right. No. It's not Rivka. It's just one article.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're very, 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 very excited. Yeah. So I just think this is a really cool thing.
So
anyway,
you guys have fun and get to reporting.
Peace out. No, wait. What did Walter Cronkite was an old reporter. You probably don't know who he is, do you?
No.
God, I'm so old. He'd go, and that's the way it is. Brian Williams.
Yeah.
But he's younger. But Walter Cronkite was very famous, and he'd go, and that's the way it is.
And that's the way it is.
So there's your sign off, and that's the assignment. So have fun.
Bye.
Let me figure out how to turn it off. I'm always so old with this. All right. Bye.